Welcome back to the show, my friends. I am your host, Eric Szilagyi. If you've had an uncomfortable experience and you'd like to have it featured on the show, please get a hold of me at contact.uncomfortable@gmail.com. The world wants to hear your experiences. They want to hear your stories. So please get a hold of me and let's tell yours on a future episode of Uncomfortable. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, both at Uncomfortable Podcast 65. And please remember to leave us a 5-star rating and review where you can. That's the main way you, the listener, can help get this show out in front of more people. And more people listening means more great guests coming forward with their experiences. Also, for those of you looking for a change of pace, please head over to Uncomfortable Podcast on YouTube and hit subscribe and the notification bell. That way you will be made aware every time I upload a version of the podcast in the video format. I'm doing that on a regular basis now, and it seems to be garnering some popularity. If you are interested in helping support the show, head over to patreon.com/uncomfortablepodcast770 and check out the 3 levels we have there for you. See if anything appeals to you. Or if a standalone contribution is more to your liking, you can do that as well through Red Circle. The sponsor of this podcast, the link for both of those will be in the show notes below. September 14th, ladies and gentlemen, 2024, September 14th is the date for Bigfoot and Brews. Only this year it's going to be called Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2. Again, being held in the confines of Sister Lakes Brewing Company in Dowagiac, Michigan. The Bigfoot side of things, we have already secured Ohio's Amy Boo from Project Zoo Book and the Olympic Project out in Washington. And the paranormal side of it, we have a guest speaker who will be a listener favorite, the Archbishop Christina Rake. I'm in talks with several other presenters, and as they commit, I will make you aware, so please stay tuned for more info. As for tonight's show, speaking of Bigfoot and Brews, my guest tonight was one of the incredible speakers that I was fortunate enough to feature at this last year's event, and we've got a lot of new stuff to talk to you about. So if you're ready, let's get into it. So if you will, please give a warm, uncomfortable welcome to Mr. Stacy Brown Jr. Stacy, welcome to Uncomfortable.
What's up, bud? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir. Same to you, man.
It's been a few months.
Yeah. You're not an ice cube right now, so that's good news.
that does mean that I've been able to keep the lights on and the heat going because it's pretty damn cold where we're at right now.
Oh, I bet.
Past couple of mornings have been single digits, and overnights have been in the negatives. So I hear you're having a bit of non-normal Florida weather where you're at as well.
Well, okay, so this part of Florida, we get these kind of days. It's like 30 right now. It was 25 last night. But like last year, I think we only got 2, like total days. We're going on having, a few weeks worth of bad weather right now where it's just super cold and makes it miserable, So yeah. It won't get much lower than like 20, but that's about our winter, on the bad nights.
So as I was saying, Stacy Brown was one of the fine speakers that we had at this past September's Bigfoot and Brews. It was a pleasure to have him. The audience reacted very well to your presentation. It was good. It was concise. It was informative. You and Robert Kreider did a fantastic job of keeping everybody entertained for the day. We're going to get into talking about a project that you let us have a sneak peek at during the VIP dinner on the night before on Friday night, and that was the Conjuring House Experiments. That was pretty interesting. That was there you guys had some stuff going on in that quite frankly was a little freaky.
Yeah, we wanted it to be something you would remember. The I think a lot of the issue with the paranormal right now is it's like waves coming into the beach. They all look the same.
Yeah.
You want to be that wave. It kind of crashes everything down and people remember. So it's kind of what we were aiming for, to push the envelope a little bit and do some things that people are uncomfortable talking about. Uh, People nowadays tend to get away from the more or the, I guess, like the occult stuff, the old ways of
Yeah.
conjuring things. People are much more about the technology now and just asking questions. I guess it's less scary or something. But
From the standpoint of somebody who's done a couple of investigations, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It is the idea of going into some place and performing a ritual or a summoning to engage and get contact. That is something that, man, I would really have to be convinced to do. That's something, it makes it way scarier. I think the technological way of going about, like a lot of these shows do, comes off as being a much safer and less a less invasive way to try to make contact with these entities on the other side. And what you guys did, quite frankly, watching that and recognizing some of the things that you were saying and using to elicit those responses, really, it's cliche, but it really made me uncomfortable and, kind of scared for you in a manner of speaking.
right, yeah. Well, it's like, do you want to find out or not? That's kind of where I'm at.
Right.
So I mean, sure, the EMF meter can be going off. I don't know what the hell that means, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's see if we can have visions or thoughts that aren't our own. See if something can happen that can at least convince me. That's all that's about. That's the whole thing. Is I just want to convince myself that there's something more.
And maybe that's a part of it. Maybe, because I had some very pointed, very quite obviously interaction with my dad after he had passed away. It was somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 or 9 months after he had passed, and they were very direct things that led me to believe wholeheartedly that it was him that I was interacting with. So I had that belief already. So I get what you're saying, from the standpoint of somebody who has maybe not had something that is that dramatic of an experience. They would want to push the envelope more. Um, for myself personally, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the surprise of, oh, they're going to react with this time instead of this, or hey, this time we got something that moved instead of just a sound or an EVP or something. Um, but I mean, you guys kind of put it all out there.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many different there were so many different aspects that came in the decision with some of that, and it's easy to do those things if you don't believe, right? If you think it's nonsense, it's nothing to it. Sitting in on a seance ain't that big a deal, you know. But if you're wrong, there's that downside. But It was like, when are we going to be at this place again? When are we ever going to have these permissions? You know, and when are we going to have this? I mean, because it was just kind of everything fell into place. Like, the guy that built the World Gate experiment, I had met him before, and then he just called me up out of the blue and was like, "Yo, I got this experiment. You wanna try it out?" And it's like, we had just confirmed we were going to the Conjuring House, you know. So it was kind of just fell into place, and of course we want to try that there, you know, try all these new things and kind of keep things fresh, push the envelope a little bit, you know, because why not? I mean, what else is? I mean, the people are just watching the same old stuff over and over again.
Right.
If you're looking at it from an entertainment or like a filmmaking standpoint, but outside of that, like, when in the world am I going to get to go to this place again? When am I going to have the original investigator to that property in my pocket? You know what I mean? To do
Yeah.
this seance again, right? Like, let's do it again with this guy here. And yeah, it was a little there were some moments where we're like, all right, we're in it now, guys. You know?
And you guys took a little bit of heat, didn't you? You got in a little bit of trouble for the seance.
uh yeah, it was weird because they told us the gloves were off, and then they suggested we use Carl because I had another guy who lives down the street who was gonna go, and they suggested Carl, and I guess Carl had been there and done a seance before, but whatever he did before wasn't what he did then. And I told him, I said, "Hey, bud, the gloves are off. We can do whatever we want." I said, "I have willing participants here to do whatever we need to do to get some type of activity,
Yeah.
make something happen. You know, let's see it. If you think you can do it, if Carl, you telling me you can summon something? Come on, I want to watch that. I want to see that."
Now, Carl's been in. I wouldn't say he's been in the limelight, but he's had some notoriety. I mean, I've seen him on multiple other paranormal shows. I know he's worked early on. He worked with the guys from Ghost Adventures. I believe I remember seeing him in an episode or two or of Ghost Hunters, one of the originals way back. And I've seen him in some other short documentaries and stuff. Carl, I can't remember his last name now.
Johnson.
Him, and he has a twin brother as well. They used to work. They used to work together. And has one fallen off? Has the brother kind of fallen away from doing this stuff?
To my knowledge, no. It's just different approaches. You know how you have a yin and yang symbol,
Yeah,
the white and the black. That's it. You know, and they do stuff together. You know, Carl's just got his own thing that I don't think his brother's much seeing it from that way.
yeah.
You know, his brother's more of like the church.
That's right. You're right. I do remember that. One was more faith based, and the other was more kind of devil may care.
He's still faith based, but it's just who they serve.
Yeah.
I think it's two different things there.
So, you know, through that experience, and again, it's called the Conjuring House Experiments. And where can people catch up with this? Where can they view it?
It's on Amazon right now. I don't know if it's on Tubi yet, but I know it's on Amazon Prime, so you can rent it there.
I've not watched it since you've released it, because I kind of got spoiled because you let us air this for the first time at our VIP dinner on that Friday night. So and I remember you asked our opinions about the black and white or color or what. So what did you end up going with? And
It wasn't my choice, but we did color, and it
did you?
broke my heart.
Yeah.
Some
So I,
things, listen, like this is what my buddy can't get through his head for whatever reason. When you have something you're doing that makes it uncomfortable to watch, watching anything in black and white is uncomfortable because it's not the normal.
right.
You know what?
100%.
It sets the tone a little bit different, and it would have been I think it would have been a more creepier film, you
Yeah.
know. But that's just my opinion, and so whatever. I conceded at the end. I was like, I don't really care that much.
Yeah, I agree. Whenever you introduce the black and white, it's much more, it's much more shocking to the eye. When you're dealing with the heavy shadows and there's just something about it that really elicits. Um, it almost draws you in more than
Right.
seeing something in color, because I don't know if that's your mind thinking, okay, it's different, so I got to pay better attention to it. I might miss something, but you were right. It definitely was.
It sets a different tone, and different strokes, different folks. But me, it's like if you're gonna make a film that's like edgy, and you're trying to do certain things with it, be shocking. Like, why stop short and be like, oh wait, nobody, I won't watch a black and white film because it's black and white. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know,
Well,
dude. Whatever. It wasn't a big deal at the end of the day, but I think it's way better in black and white.
there's been a considerable number of horror movies and monster movies that I've enjoyed in color, but by far, still the old classic Universal monster films. You know, the Draculas, the Frankenstein, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Those
Yeah.
It was all very stunning visually, because they're in black and white, and it still holds up till today.
Right. And yeah, some of my favorite films are, color, but it's something about watching a film that's black and white. It sets a if it's done properly, you know what I mean? If you're
Yeah.
not just black and white to have it black and white, like we even shot it to have it black and white. And God's like, I had no idea we were doing that. I'm like, bro, whatever, dude.
So the group of guys, excuse me, the group of guys you did this with, you're all part of Outcast Paranormal,
Yeah, yeah.
and list the names of the gentlemen that were in this with you.
Okay, so you had Josh Watson. He was there. He he mainly does he's the Bigfoot in all my recreations and stuff like that at
Yeah.
conferences. He's Bigfoot. Yeah, Ryan, RPG, Golembeski. Uh, he's he's the one that's like staring down into the well. Then you had James Brost. Um, he's in there. He was the center of the World Gate for us. And yeah, Joey Badia, he's a cameraman. Bill Brock was there. He runs audio and also does the camera work. And then we had some other people. We had Justin Spurrier there and Austin Spurrier, and then Jay Prather. He was our tech guy. He builds like all the ghost equipment for Ghost Adventures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's trying to climb into my lap. But yeah, so there was a whole bunch of us, and we don't none talk no more, really.
What?
Yeah, that was kind of ended it, man. It cost.
Why?
Hey, fuck, dude. A lot of people's life went to shit after that.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's just death, a couple overdoses, fucking house, like sewage back up, and then a tree in the front yard just burst into flames. I mean, you can take it for what it's worth. It happened.
Wow.
Don't know if it's connected, but Outcast ain't much of a thing no more.
I'm shocked by that.
Right? I mean,
Holy crap.
we still got a few films we're putting out. We're still making, but there's no plans to do nothing else. We're doing everything from afar. And
Wow, that shocks me, dude.
well, so okay, I'll get into a little bit. So, like, they said don't take rocks.
Right.
Some of them took rocks.
Removed it from the property.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, it for a lot of people it went bad. I had personally some stuff happen to me.
Did you?
Yeah, lost about $70,000 worth of property.
Oh.
Yeah. Josh, he kind of okay, so when he was there in the World Gate, he said he's seen everybody that had passed away that he knew, but his grandfather was there. His grandfather hadn't passed away. Okay. And then Jerry Pacheco, he came from the Lizzie Borden house. He's a tech guy, IT guy. He's a friend of ours. He come over to hang out, because he lives, Massachusetts, and we live in Florida. Not often get to see each other.
Right.
But he was there, and he's a psychic of some sort, right? So he had a vision in his sleep of Josh's mom crying. So Josh is the bald-headed guy that in the film you see he slams his head into the table repeatedly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That was disturbing.
Yeah, it was weird. And then you see his muscle spasming on his arm. Remember that?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jerry's like, yo, I need to talk to Josh. I seen his mom last night. She's crying really bad. He goes, what do you think he's gonna say to me if I say this stuff to him? And I was like, Josh ain't gonna say nothing. He's kind of intimidated, I guess. But he went up and told Josh. Josh is like, okay, well, I'll give her a call when we get out of here. And then as we're standing in line to board the plane, he gets a phone call that his grandfather had died. Right?
Yeah.
And, Jerry seeing his mom crying, that would have been her dad. And then Josh seeing him with all the people that he knew who were dead.
Right.
And he wasn't dead yet. He was still about 2 days away. So that was weird. Yeah. But yeah, man, it was, some of us still hang out and are friends. But it ain't like it was. It kind of just like James is, he's, I guess, got super religious since then, because it had an impact.
Obviously, yeah.
On everybody. And James had some family issues, some serious family issues. And then I guess he turned to the Lord or found the Lord in what he experienced there. And I don't know if James was really religious before then. I'm sure he was, but I had never heard any of it. You know what I mean? But then after that, I think when you see the proof of the afterlife and that's what it is, I think that steers you over to, hey, let me go talk to my dog Jesus over here and make sure we're square. Yeah. You know what I mean? Start doing the right thing. But that was the impact it had on his life. So
are you comfortable with getting into not necessarily the personal things that happened, but you personally, how your paradigm shifted after this?
I'm not scared to die anymore. Okay, so we did the World Gate, and the CIA.
Maybe for those who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
and
I can talk about it.
give the people an idea what the World Gate is.
Okay, so the World Gate is this experiment built by Jay Prather, but it's based off of the gateway process, and the CIA had a study on it, and there was this one page missing for
Right.
years. Well, Jay ends up with the page. It became public somehow or something, and Jay got it. And so the World Gate basically is you're in a SEPA symbol. A SEPA symbol and a pentagram are the same thing, but this is what I guess the Egyptians, Sumerians called it, right? Whoever. So we're positioned all around in the house, and he's using new, say, universal math, gematria. He's using that to see who can be included, like because RPG wasn't allowed to do it. And then where you would sit, right? So, but the CIA had been doing it. Like they had money to throw at this shit, and they have been studying it and doing it with people and trying to, I guess, remote view and things like that. But the CIA said that you go to a place when you click out, when your frequency gets between 4 and 7 hertz, you'll click out and you go to this place called the Absolute. And there's rules in the Absolute. Like we didn't know till after we did the shit that you can become untethered from your body. And then that's it, right? Like, but so they talk about this place that is everything. They come out of it saying we live in like an energy hologram and that all religions are real. Some wild shit. And it's online for you to look at, right? Like, you can look this up, read about it. It's very interesting. It's like 26 pages. But anyways, we did that. And I don't know how to explain it, but the word absolute. I never felt that way ever. Okay. Way I've told people is I went to heaven, hell, see my past, future, and present, and everything all at once in 47 minutes. I seen my kids. Like, I didn't know they were staying at my sister's. And like, so you ever flew over into a city and
I remember you saying something that you were above them and you could see them on the couch.
yeah. So you ever flown into a city at night and you're seeing the lights, but you're about maybe 5,000 feet up?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like flying like that, right? But then all of a sudden, I see my kids there on the couch, and then I see my girlfriend, and I'm at my apartment now, and I see her there. She's in my spot on my couch, and she's eating something out of a can. And I'm like, what? And then I'm a little kid, and I'm talking to someone, or I'm with somebody who I assume is my mother, but it's not my mother. I know this person is my mother, though, right? And I got my face up against the damn car window, and I'm just watching the telephone poles fly by, right? We're hauling ass somewhere. And then all of a sudden, there's this little girl, and I love this child. Like, I don't know who this child is. Never seen this child before in my life, but there's a face and everything. A lot of times they say when you're dreaming, you won't see faces to things.
Yeah.
Or new faces, right? There's a face of this shit. And it's looking at her, and she's smiling, and this huge thing just grows on her neck like that. And she makes this damn grin at me. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at like a gold tablet with this writing on it, and I don't know what it is. The gold tablet kind of forms these dreads, and it's a lady, and she's screaming at me. And that's when I went to hell. And then we're sitting there, and my body's shaking. Like in the earlier points before I clicked out, or before I thought I clicked out, my body was shaking. And I was like, yo, y'all gonna be able to actually physically see my body move on camera. I know I was shaking back and forth and I couldn't figure out why. That comes up later. But so then we get out of it. He closes the portal. My phone's blowing up. My phone's been blowing up. And it's my kids. And they're like, yo, what in the world are you doing right now? And it was this black mist, fog type mist that was in the house. They seen this
where they were at.
Where they were at, which was at my sister's, which I had no idea. I'd been in Rhode Island for a week. They're supposed to be with my mom, right? But like they'll stay with my sister, they'll stay with their mama. You know what I mean? It's a back and forth kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Wherever they feel like going. And that's what, for them to be there. And then so I text my girlfriend. I was like, are you sitting in my spot eating out of a can? She's like, yeah, I'm eating pineapples. I was like, damn, bro. And it was weird, but the thing about me being shaken back and forth, in the exit interview, Austin said he was walking around and looking at everybody and was shaking me, trying to get me up, shaking me on the cot, trying to wake me up so I could go and do stuff. Right. But I tell you what, I didn't want to come back.
Really?
Yeah, I would have never came back. I was good. I hope to do that again one day. I believe that is what's going to happen when I die. So I'm trying to keep my brain intact. So I think that's going to be important. But yeah, I'm not scared of it anymore. I don't worry about it. I think that's where we go when we die. Now, whether that's going to heaven or not, I don't know. It was weird because I've wanted to do the experiment outside of a haunted location because I think we wouldn't have the negative part. So like after the experiment ended, and you should watch the movie if you haven't already, after the experiment ends, we're seeing orbs and there's a lady screaming in the house. Like as soon as it ended and he closed the portal, there was a woman scream in the house. And so they go from room to room and they're chasing this thing. Every time they get to a room, it's in the next room. And they finally get to the birthing room. And when they open the door, there was like one of those SLS and stick figures there. And then there was a scream and then it just stopped. And that was directly after. And I wasn't the only person that seen the woman. You know, that's what was strange. Like,
so several of you literally saw the manifestation in the room.
Yes. And like with Richard, he saw me as a child with some woman standing outside of an old ass car. He's like, he goes, it wasn't you, bud, but I knew it was you. Or I knew it was Stacy because he wasn't talking to me when it first happened. And that was strange. Richard had a complete terrible experience after that. Richard was ready to kill Jay because he thought he had changed the audio track because we did it twice and I didn't get to do the first time. But he thought Richard had changed the audio track. And then I thought because there were, okay, so you're laying there, right, with like a sleep mask on and you got these headphones on and you start seeing what appears to be like lightning popping behind clouds. And so I went towards that. And once I got towards that, I went kind of like almost through a tunnel. But then when it stopped, I was standing up looking at the stars and there were like woods surrounding me, right? I could see the woods. It was a very strange experience, but at one point I'm seeing flashes. I mean, and it's not like, because you got to figure I got a sleep mask on. There were times, dude, where I thought I had my eyes open and sitting on that sleep mask because it was like I was not wearing it. It was like I shut my eyes and I opened my eyes and there was all this stuff. It was so clear. It was the oddest thing. I didn't know an audio frequency could make you hallucinate, and that's exactly what happened to me. Was I had hallucinations. Uh, so
And I find it odd that you found so much comfort in that you no longer fear your demise.
no, I don't, dude. I want to go back. I want to do it again. You know what I mean? Like, you don't understand. You don't. Like, if you I've never felt love like that. I felt love like that one time before, and I was doing Molly, but it
What about
wasn't that intense.
the tablet that morphed into the dreads, and then you saw a woman, and then you alluded to you thought that was the progression to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that
So
was a progression. She had some the tablet, I don't think she had anything to do with the tablet. I think that tablet was shown to me by something on that property, because that tablet came up when RPG was staring down into the well. He had visions of a tablet, you know. Uh and so that was the second time that tablet had came up that week. And I almost think, dude, that, like, because the whole deal to it from the owner, from Corey, was, hey, it's not the house, it's the land. We could yank the house out of here, and it's the same shit. Bring in a trailer. It's the same thing.
because and I'm glad you brought that up, as far as it being the land, um, because just it being a haunted location is not, it's not the only thing that has happened there.
No, no, it's not. At the time during the film, you'll see Justin and his little thing with this alien. Like, they've had several UFO sightings out there. They've had Bigfoot sightings out there. Justin was standing in the yard hearing knocks and, like, mumbling in the woods, and didn't know what the hell it was. He's like, I think this could be a Bigfoot. Like, you got a whole house full of Bigfooters in there asleep, bro. Go in there and wake their ass up. You've got a
Yeah.
Sasquatch on the property. And what it made me think, looking back, is that all of that is connected. I don't know if it's they're all interdimensional, or if there's, like, we all stay on Earth. We don't never leave Earth. We just transition into a different level of existence on this plane. Like, Earth
Yeah.
is the plane, but I think those things are like sucking life out of us. I think
You
they
know,
drain you of your life. I think that's the point to scare. I think that's the point to make you happy. I think whatever it is, it's actually doing this. This is probably all a thought thing. Like, this could all be a simulation, and we're laying in a pod like on the Matrix, and they're feeding off of our feelings, our emotions, that feeling of terror that you get. And it was like, I got everything right there at once, and it stumps me, man. It stumps me to what it was. But if I had the choice, I would have stayed.
you bring up the knocks, and you bring up the extraterrestrial looking entity. And here's the thing, because you know the the community of Bigfoot particularly is so divided on the woo. You're either in the woo or you're out of the woo. There is no middle of the road. And I've talked about this on other episodes. Christina Rake, who was with us the night that we viewed this, she and I have had wonderful conversations. But we got into it one night, and so, like, when you're out in the woods and you're potentially in the presence of Sasquatch. There's innumerable people who have reported seeing light orbs, in conjunction with this. There are tons of people who hear this knock, this wood knock, right? Well, when you investigate a haunted location, what's one of the common things that you'll hear in a location? You'll hear knocks. You'll hear knocks on the wall. Well, I think we've all been kind of preconditioned to that's a spirit knocking on the wall to get your attention. And I don't think that's what it is. I think that is a peripheral effect of them coming into our perception, them coming into our viewable or experienceable perception, whether that means they're coming through a portal or a dimensional gate, or, I don't know. It all sounds incredibly asinine when you say it out loud. You sound like a lunatic when you say it out loud, but you hear the people that have the reports of the mechanical noises, like the slamming of a car door or something. That's what it sounds like to them. But maybe, again, that is a sound that is a peripheral part of them coming into our existence to where we can perceive them. And the lights, how many times have you heard of people, and probably even yourself, in a haunted location where you see an orb? I saw an orb manifest in front of me and my daughter. We both saw it while we were investigating a graveyard years ago. Right. I mean, it literally came out of nowhere. It was about the size of a golf ball. It was pretty much a whitish light, but it had a blue hue around the outside edge of it. And it darted around for a second and a half and just poof, it left and when I say it left, I don't mean that it shot off to where we couldn't see it anymore. It just blipped into existence. It did a little thing and then poof, it was gone. And, I'm with you when you're talking about all these things. I think, I've been into UFOs since I was 5. I mean, it's never left me. And of course, for a lot of my life, I used to think that they were obviously coming from somewhere other than here. They were in spaceships and they were coming from another planet, and my paradigm shift on this has been pretty dramatic in these past couple of years. And I think that these things are already here. I think all of it is here. Mm-hmm. And, you talk to people like J.J. Rose, and these spiritualists and these light workers, they talk about the thinning of the veil, that happens a couple times a year. And one time is, around the Halloween season, oddly enough, or not oddly enough. But this past year, that veil has not ever really come back and closed, that it's remained more open than it ever has been, and again, when you say it out loud and you're having a conversation, looking at another set of eyes across from you, like we are right now, it sounds batshit crazy.
Yeah. But I've actually seen more orbs Bigfooting than I have, and I've never seen an orb at a haunted house, to be honest. I had to think about it. I think, I don't think I've seen the one at the Conjuring House. They did. Yeah, I see them Bigfooting all the time. And as for the knocks, go out there and pick up a limb off the ground and try to make that same sound.
That's my point. Every time somebody brings it up, you can't even come close.
No, so it's like, is it hand claps? But it don't sound the same. I've been able to make it one time. There was a hollow cypress tree, and I slapped it, and it made that knock sound.
Yeah.
But outside of that, what are you doing, dude? Because I hear the knocks. I don't know what it is, though. I don't believe it's them banging a stick up on a tree.
I don't either. And about the closest you can come to doing it repeatedly is if you had 2 old-fashioned hardwood baseball bats.
Yep.
And you smacked them together. hard enough that your wrists and your hands would vibrate after you did it. That's the sound. And again, I was just talking to somebody the other night. Two gentlemen who had all kinds of weird stuff happening to them back over the fall in mid Michigan while they were hunting, brothers. And it's like you go pick up any limb, you search all day long for the hardest limb you can find and the biggest one you can pick up, and you swing for the fences, man. And you hit that tree. You've got the bark that softens the blow. You're going to have a snap and a crack and something break off the end of that stick when you do it because of the inertia and the immediate stop when it hits that tree.
Right.
So, and that's something you're not hearing. You hear a knock, but you don't hear something breaking in conjunction with it.
Right.
And I don't think, and we don't have anybody on with any footage of a Bigfoot picking up a limb and swinging and hitting a tree, So I agree with you. I don't think that's it. I think it's part of how we perceive them coming into us being able to tell that they're there.
Right. Never know. I'm lost on it. I don't know what the hell it is. I know it ain't what they're saying it is, though. Like, where are these sticks at, bro? Where are they at?
Yeah. And like this property of the Conjuring House, with the number of things that are happening there, I don't know the lay of the land. I don't know if that's part of an area, a larger area that seems to have the same kind of things
Bridgewater,
happening.
it is the Bridgewater Triangle.
It is in the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
You've got, the ranch you can never say the name of because they'll sue you if you do, but so you got Skinwalker Ranch, that whole Utah Basin. There, you got Space Wolf Research Ranch.
Yeah.
Right down the road. And, the people that live there have been talking about these kind of things all throughout that area, so what is it about the land that, because it's definitely not just the ranch, it's all over that whole area, so what is it about those types of pieces of property? Is it ley lines? Is there something to these triangles? It's fascinating to me.
Well, I wonder sometimes because like the Bridgewater Triangle ain't as active as it used to be. Right. From what I hear, it's just not what it was back in its heyday. I wonder if these portals or whatever, certain areas, these energies, they just come on during certain times for so long and then it's somewhere else.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know what I'm saying? It just moves around, I don't know. There's so much in this world that we don't know. I just wish everybody would quit acting like they did.
And that's a great point that you bring up, because it's okay to say you don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay to have an interest in things and not be an expert. Just because you don't have so many people, especially in Bigfoot, they lean on the science aspect of things, and yeah, without that, I get it. It's okay to lean on it, but by leaning on the science and the stuff that you can kind of prove, you're throwing out with the bathwater a lot of things that, to me, all you have to do is sit down and listen to Sasquatch Chronicles, right? He's got 1,000 episodes. 1,000 episodes. And okay, there's a percentage of them that are horseshit. There's a percentage of them that are people who have written a good story. They're a good storyteller, and they can go on a show and not fumble over the words and not get tripped up. And, you have that with everything. You have that with UFO encounters. You have that with everything.
Yep.
But there's a large percentage of those stories that are just normal people telling about their experience, and they're doing it because Wes gives them a safe place to do it, and a lot of people hear it. You know, you listen to the emails that Steve Istall up in British Columbia, he has howtohunt.com. You listen to the emails that he reads from people. I mean, they could be interchangeable with the stories that are on Sasquatch Chronicles, you know, and so many of them have weird shit happening in each one of them. You know, more so the rarity is to hear somebody say, I was walking through the woods, I saw something up ahead of me, it peeked out from behind the tree, it was a Bigfoot, and it turned around and I walked away. And that was it. You know, there's always something additional that's really weird about it. You know, you talk to Ron Moorhead. You know, I had him at Bigfoot and Brews 2 years ago. You know, I mean, his experiences there prompted him to get into quantum physics because it was so unusual, you know, and I just don't think that you're not giving it a fair shake if you're throwing out all the crazy weird shit.
Yeah, it's just hard to, it's a paradigm shift for people, man. And it's hard to, you're never going to see the world in the same light again. You know what I mean? Your life is going to change. Things you thought about before will never come up again. And that's a hard pill for somebody to swallow. It's a lot easier to just be like, yeah, that's hogwash, and then continue back on with the life you've got. Because what does it mean to you? All of a sudden, if you were told tomorrow that yes, aliens are real, they're right here, they just took you last night, you now know aliens are real. You know what I mean? It mess your head up, bro. I think people steer away from that a lot. They may think, you know, these people are crazy, but then you also have the people that just, oh, hey, I don't want to know nothing about it. If it is real, I don't want to know.
Well, Christina Rake, the Archbishop that was there with us, I had her on a show fairly recently, and you know she has cut her teeth in the paranormal. Not only is she a practicing archbishop for the old Catholic Church, but she has committed herself to paranormal research. She is a professor. She teaches courses in demonology, angelology, theology, and you know, for her to drop a bomb on me in this last episode where she talks about being out on the East Coast when she lived out there and driving home, turning down the one road and seeing a triangular craft with a light shining down on top of a farmhouse. I was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know? And she's like, I know how to battle demons. I know how to deal with that. She's like, this stuff, I have no idea. And it scares the shit out of me. So I compartmentalize it. And it's not something that I talk about. I can talk about, you know, protecting yourself and purging yourself of a demonic entity. And that doesn't bother me at all. Because I know I can kick their ass. But when it comes to extraterrestrials or ultra terrestrials, she's like, I don't know what to do with that. So I don't talk about it. And I just hide it away.
It's funny when she finds out it's all the same thing.
Yeah, I'm that's where my head has been for a while now.
It's all it does is induce fear. No matter what it is, it just induces fear in all of us. First time I seen a Bigfoot, I was scared to death, bro.
Oh, I imagine.
It ain't never been a time when they've been around where I was like, oh, wow, it's so cool. My Sasquatch friends are here. Hell no. Better tighten up, boys.
You know, but you know, you get EVPs, right? When you're You got a recorder going in a haunted location. It doesn't even have to be a haunted location. You can get EVPs at work if you put yourself in a position to do it, right?
Yep.
But then you have the people that talk about mind speak with Sasquatch. Is that, that's telepathy, that's telepathic communications? Is it much different than a bodiless soul, an entity, a spirit being able to imprint its vocals onto a recorder versus some other kind of being able to put the voice into your head? And how many people who have been abducted by UFOs and have claimed to be taken onto ships and stuff, they don't open their mouths. They don't speak. Everything that they know and they understand that's happening to them, or the being comforted, is all done through the mind. Yep. So, I mean, when you start writing it all out on a big board and you start drawing lines from one to another, a lot of it looks like it's connected.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and I guess at the end of the day, dude, you have to ask yourself, do you believe in coincidence or not? I don't.
No, not anymore.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, and it just so happens y'all got a lot of the same similarities going on. Why wouldn't you be connected? I mean, it's as puzzling to me as an atheist. Whether you believe we're in a simulation or God or whatever type of creator there was, the fact that people believe that we just all evolved here and ended up on this rock floating through space by chance, and that we're pond scum, like, brother, go get your booster, I guess, put your mask back on. Like, I don't. That puzzles me so much. It puzzles me almost as much as people that hunt Bigfoot that never seen a Bigfoot. That puzzles me too. But I just can't understand the way some people look at stuff, and they just close their mind. They're like, yeah, I mean, we're knocking in the woods, we're knocking in the houses. You know what I mean? It's all the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
So, and it's almost like when people, they tell you to pray, but then don't do magic.
It's the same thing.
It's the same exact thing, bro.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. It's your intention that makes it bad.
Yeah.
I think people are just not informed. I think at the end of the day, like you was saying, she just kind of turns the other way from some things. And I think that's it. They already have a preconceived notion and they just, turn away.
Yeah. I mean, throughout that conversation, she even started to recall periods of missing time.
Wow.
Throughout her life. And, I'm like, Christina, we've talked multiple times. We've had plenty of emails back and forth. She's part of my Discord group. We've had, she's going to be a speaker at the next Bigfoot and Brews. She's a wonderful person. And, to be in the midst of a conversation with somebody and have them start to have the recollections of, and I do remember when I went out for a hike and I was gone for 6 hours and, there were 2 other people with me and nobody knew they had been out searching for us and they were right where we were at, but we weren't there. I mean, those kind of things are kind of like, how is that not something that you talk about all the time?
Right.
But so it is a way weirder world that we live in than what most people are willing to accept.
Yeah. Yeah. I think here soon they won't have a choice. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. And without without my own prejudice coming into it, let's get into what makes you say that.
I mean, like, so what does it say in Revelation? So, like, you start looking back at things, or I don't know. I guess first of all, you get stoned so you can get on this mind level, right? No, but seriously, I think the Bible's more accurate about things than we are being told, or you know what I mean. I think this whole science movement, um, demons in the flesh, bro. And I think they push us certain ways. I think the Bible's actually pretty accurate about everything it says in there. The world will be upside down. You know, right is wrong. Man will see beasts. Look around you, dude. Look around you. Look at what's going on.
Yeah.
Like you have people who are absolutely appearing by all necessary means to hurt the public. You know what I mean? With the stuff they put in our food, the stuff they put in our water. You know, American milk is not allowed to be sold in like 30 countries.
I have heard that. I wasn't sure if that was true. I never
Oh,
looked
that's
into
true.
it, but
Skittles, a lot of these candies, we put Red 40 dye and all this shit. You know, and then here's another thing. We don't do human sacrifices anymore. However, we have abortion clinic on every street corner in the low income neighborhoods. Look at this. The shit it just seems wrong, dude. You have guys wanting to become girls, and you know they're having a transition. Yeah, and I know it's been going on for a long time, but now they're pushing it on our youth, on the children. You know what I mean? Things just seem wrong. The UAP stuff's coming out. I think that's all bullshit. Like, just hear me out on that.
okay.
The government gives tapes to Jeremy Corbell. He puts out stuff, right?
All right.
You have Tom DeLonge. They also talk to that whack job too. Why are they giving this shit to them? Why are you giving it to Jeremy Corbell? He is just a dude. Like, what has he done? And he's got a Netflix deal all of a sudden. He's on Joe Rogan all of a sudden. Who was this guy? Where did he come from? How come we didn't all know about his YouTube channel or anything like that? He just appears. And, oh, hey, guys, I got skinny jeans and a nice little cut beard. Oh, you can trust me. Yeah, we're telling you the truth. Sure. The government ain't telling him shit. I believe all this stuff that's happening with the UFOs, because if you look at it, they haven't really told us anything new. You have people coming up there saying, well, I heard from this guy. You know what I mean? It's all secondhand stories. Nobody's coming up and was like, yeah, bro, I was smoking a cigarette with alien. His name's Lawrence. He's cool as hell. You know, that's not happening. Their outlets, to me, seem like they're more driven by pop culture and trying to reach the younger audience. They're wanting the younger kids to pay attention to aliens. They're wanting this stuff about aliens to be there. Meanwhile, we've got the thing going on in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, we have the face peelers out of Peru. The face peelers out of Peru and the things they described down here at the mall, kind of the same thing, bro.
Okay.
They got a lot of the same attributes, and I almost think it is a demonic force. Like I said, I think we are put here, and these things are drawing energy off of our emotions, and it's all this is about. Like, because when you go to the absolute, there ain't nothing but love, brother. There was nothing but love, and I think that house is what made me have the negative time. But then you come back out here, and there ain't no love. It's hard to find.
It is hard to find.
Hey, I mean that on a real level. It's hard to find love.
Yeah.
If you got somebody that loves you, you hold on to them. You'll get that a lot nowadays, and now it's just hatred. He's racist, and yeah. This is name calling and shit. And like, for God's sake, we're spending money on banning plastic straws, and we have human beings asleep on the sidewalk. It's freezing tonight, bro. There are people in your town homeless.
How many trillions of dollars are we in our national debt?
Right.
And instead of turning around and giving money to every country, every nation in this world who should be fending for themselves, why not take a fraction of that money, and you could put every homeless person under a roof? You could put food in every starving belly.
Hell, look at Mr. Beast. He went down there and put up a bunch of damn wells so people to have fresh drinking water in Africa, and the media
Right.
gave him shit about it, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. That's why I think this is coming to an end. It has. I hope it doesn't continue to go on. Whether God is a great flood or something, whatever it is, but it happened before. Every culture on the planet has a flood story.
They do.
I think that thing actually happened, and I don't know. Y'all better get right with something. Because times ain't looking good, dude. They're not. And, you said that veil kind of thinned and then it didn't close this time. It's all going to implode. It's just like so much negative space. That's all it is.
Whether it's media, whether it's government, whether it's local government, I mean, everybody has become so polarized. You have to be on a team now. You have to be in a certain camp.
Yep.
And, this is a poor example, but in our last interview, you started talking about Bob Gimlin and the Patterson Gimlin film. We disagree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that and I don't see anything that is remotely a costume. You and we had a discussion about it. I heard your stance on it. You heard mine. You didn't call me a effing idiot for the way I thought about it. I didn't tell you were out of your mind for what you were saying. We were able to have a conversation about it, and at the end of the day, still part as friendly. And what's the big deal? We have two differing opinions. I could be wrong. You could be wrong. We both could be wrong. So what?
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
I'm happy to be alive to have the discussion.
So to be able to find a person that you can have conversation with like that now about any topic without becoming embattled and without becoming enemies now because of your viewpoint or your standpoint on something, it's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, people, like, to me, when they came out with the introduction of these body cam for the law enforcement, this is so great because it's going to protect the officer. It's going to protect the person that's being detained. It's going to, everything. It's going to be, it's great. And what has it done? All it's done has been able to take a inflammatory situation between a police officer and somebody who has supposedly done something wrong. And it has made it nothing but a mainline intravenous feeding to media. So something that happened this afternoon in Grand Rapids, Michigan, between a cop and somebody who ran a red light, who ended up getting the back of their head blown out because he decided to run because he was scared and he was only like 20 years old. Now that's going to make it onto the media coverage, the news, in no time because it's on video.
Yeah, dude.
And the chance of somebody not being around this situation with a cell phone filming it that can turn it in. Now this can, and all that's going to do is it's going to push people towards the side of the police. It's going to push another group of people towards the side of the person who was, and all it does is polarizes people. Every single thing, was Will Smith right to smack Chris Rock after saying what he said about his wife? Those kind of things right there that they put in front of our face almost on a daily basis are pushing people into camps that are separating us instead of uniting us. And
well, okay, so not to veer off topic, but you just said something there. You said that footage is going to be on the news in a few hours.
Yep.
You said their cell phone footage will be to the media in no time. Do you know where there's no cell phone footage? Do you know where you can't get the police cam videos?
Where?
Miami Mall, bro. Bayside Marketplace.
Okay.
No phones worked. Apparently.
So let's get into this.
Yeah, this is crazy, dude. We'll have another one of these discussions.
From the standpoint of somebody who has seen innumerous people on social media, whether it be TikTok or Instagram Reels or, short YouTube videos, we've heard that they were, that everybody at that mall was detained for some amount of time to make sure that any videos and photos were deleted, which to me sounds impossible. There's no way they could have done that to every single person. Then, like what you said, that they didn't work. Okay. Now we're talking about something that I might be able to buy into. If there was an event that happened there that, somewhat like a EMP maybe, or something that rendered technology useless. Okay. Up here anyway, we're hearing stories that, there were a group of kids, I think 4, who had fireworks, and then somewhere else it was a group of gangbangers who was having a turf war with another group of gangbangers, and fireworks were being shot off. Police were called. They didn't know if it was an active shooter situation. They didn't know if it was gangs fighting. They didn't know if it was just kids in the mall lighting off fireworks because they were idiots, and that's why the entire Miami-Dade Police Department shows up in force. And how many cars. I mean, anybody who's seen either one of the videos will say there was an extraordinary number of law enforcement vehicles there. So you are the only person I know other than Mickey Mouse that lives in Florida. So being that you're 7 hours away, you're still not right next door to it. But what are you coming up with on this?
Okay, so there's all the videos, like you said, the people saying this, people saying that.
Right.
I had a buddy of mine, and he goes, dude, if there were aliens, there would be cell phone footage, right?
You would think.
Yeah, you would think. However, some of the people that have been interviewed said that the cell phones all just stopped working, like nobody's phone working. But you have a flip side to that too, all right? So if it was kids shooting off fireworks, where in the hell is the cell phone footage of that?
Right.
There's none. Matter of fact, I want you to get online and find me the name of those 4 kids that were arrested.
Right.
You can't. And that's why I have a hard problem with this, because that should be front and center. There was a fight. Okay, that was apparently the day before. You had the police say that they shut down the airspace over the area.
I did hear that recently. That was the first time in just the past couple of days that I did hear that the airspace above that area had been shut down. And that to me surprised me.
They retracted that. Now, it's a bunch of police. Maybe somebody could have thought something and said the wrong thing. Then you had the cops say that they did not kill the power to the place. They're on video killing the power to the place. Where's the 911 call? Who first called it in? Where is that? It's not that big a deal. Like, if it was another police officer called in, hey, we got kids with fireworks, shooting them off. I need all cops down here, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Just show it to us. Just put it out there. You know what I mean? Don't be weird about it. Why did y'all keep it hush for like 4 days? Like, this wasn't even out for days, and then it came out like a damn bull in a china shop, tearing everything down. But how do you have this many inconsistencies and just side with them? You know what I mean? You just I think if I had the names, if I could find the names of the kids that were arrested, and I've looked, like, I don't think I'm that bad at typing in shit on Google. You know, it's kind of hard not to be. I mean, how many times is it when there's a shooting or something like that, you see on the news exactly who did it? You know what I mean? You have their name. We're looking for this man or something like that. There's none of that. There's none of that. And then the fact that Rick Doty, I don't know if you know who Rick Doty is.
Richard Doty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he told an acquaintance of mine, yeah, I've seen the ultra high definition video of that. That's just a police officer. Like, it's like, is he speaking in code? He knows no one's gonna fucking believe him. You know, or you shouldn't. That's another thing I don't get about UFO guys. The government's been lying to them this whole time about aliens, and then now they're gonna give you the proof. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
They've been telling us since the 30s that we're all crazy as hell. But now they're going to show you the stuff, and they're giving it to Jeremy Corbell. Whatever. Y'all want to go on that ship? You know, hey. don't
I mean, I can even buy them giving it to Jeremy Corbell. The one
blows my mind. And
the one I can't buy is Tom DeLonge.
Yeah, well, what's that? Dude's an idiot, bro.
That to me is, I mean, when it first came out about him being part of this, I was like, what? You know, you've got Luis Elizondo, who has been talking for quite some time now. And
he's intelligence, by the way. You know what I mean?
And if you listen to him, he sounds like he's telling you a lot, but he's not telling you much. But he leaves these little breadcrumbs that are so perfectly placed that you have to go and you have to listen to every one of his interviews, no matter who it's with, different shows, different podcasts, different whatever. And he continues to drop these little breadcrumbs that all seem to be leading to, we're going to basically shit our pants when we find out the reality of where this stuff comes from. Which to me, I'd shit my pants if there was an extraterrestrial standing in front of me. I'd shit my pants if there was a Bigfoot standing in front of me. But I'd really shit my pants if I found out that this was all related to, ultimately to good and evil in the sense of a biblical event. And it seems to be, to me, it seems like his progression of how he talks about things is, at least for me, it makes me think that that's where he's going with it.
That's where I'm at with it. Honestly, that's the same spot where I'm at. But you notice there's another thing. What happened after the Miami Mall? That jellyfish video dropped.
Yeah.
Through their little rat bastard, Jeremy Corbell. They just giving him, here, yeah, distract him, guys, distract him. Bro, this, like, I hope Project Bluebeam ain't a real thing. And when the alien invasion happens here in the next 9-10 months, that it's actually real aliens and not them just trying to control us.
And I tell you, this is going to be a banner year, because the thing that astounds me about our government, and don't get me wrong, I love America. I think we still are probably better than most places. But our political climate, and I'm not a political person at all. And maybe, shame on me. Maybe I should be more involved. Maybe I should be more knowledgeable on it. But with the amount of court hearings and the list of shit that is wrong with Biden and Biden's son and the Russian connection and all that stuff, and all of the things that Trump has been put into court proceedings for, you're telling me that those are the two best shots for us as far as American voters? That's the best we get.
Well, I think that is what you need. I think you have, when you look at Biden, you look at the system. You know what I mean? And then you look at Trump, and obviously not the system. They're trying to prosecute this man on everything they can. That should tell you something. They ain't got shit to stick on him yet. They accused him to be connected with Russia. Turns out it was them. Comey's the leaker. Hillary's the one crushing the blackberries. It's always been them. Every time they've accused this man of something, it's actually them doing it. And you don't have to be political to see that. Like, if he's guilty of all this shit, y'all have been trying since 2016, brother. They've been trying since 2016 to charge this man with something, and his ass still ain't in jail. But you know what they've done? They spent a whole lot of mine your fucking tax dollars doing it.
You're goddamn right they have.
And what? For what? Like, for what? Like, what is the point? You know what I mean? Like, leave him alone. Why are you trying to persecute this guy? What are you scared is going to happen if he becomes president again? Think that client list that y'all still ain't released? All you did give us was dozens of names of people that are already dead. You ain't said shit to nobody. That they just keep playing us along, and yet and still we've got to worry about Trump. What's Trump's done? He ain't paid his taxes. Like, how many things they got against him now?
It's a lot.
Like, leave the fucking man alone, because the only thing you're doing, love him or hate him, the only thing you're doing is keeping his name in everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're making people side with him, and now people starting to look like, y'all do realize everybody knows you fucking lied to us about COVID. Right? Like, are we still there? The trust in the government, the federal government's really low. And rightfully so. And yeah, that's what we have. That's what we're left with. We're left with the system versus obviously what the system does not want in place. They don't want Donald Trump in there for some reason, bud. And it's either he's messing up their game, their little scam they're running on all of us. Not sure how Mitt Romney got so rich. Not sure how Nancy Pelosi got so rich. Not sure why our southern border is wide open.
Man, it is wide open too.
God forbid we get somebody in office that wants to close it. God forbid we don't have some piece of shit in Washington that's going to send all of our sons to die in some war. I didn't raise my boy to die in Joe Biden's fucking money laundering pit in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
that's
do.
what it is, dude. Like, you either want wars because you didn't get none with Trump. I don't think if he got reelected, I don't think he could steer out of it. He's going to have to be. These guys are just, oh my God.
Dude. It does seem the air the air about this time does seem to be thick with the fact that we are destined to get
This
our
country
hands dirty.
the
Yeah.
country is about to change, but before 2024, and like you said, it's so polarized. Something's gonna happen.
It's scary too.
It
It
is.
really is.
It is, dude. Because I got shit I want to do, and that's find a Sasquatch. I don't want to have to deal with. I gotta go strap my boots on and go out there and protect my family today.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll pray that old magic. We'll get some old magic out here and help us out.
Where was your brain before all this? Where was your brain before the Conjuring House?
Before
As far as your religious,
I would say, I was very hopeful something was after death. I really miss my dad, like a lot,
yeah,
and I was hopeful that I could see him because I had an experience too. But you don't know. You question yourself. You know what I mean? And then after that, and it says in the Bible you can't speak to the dead. You'll only talk to demons, right? Maybe what we're talking to. And like I said, the lady on the plane, bro, that fucker ain't real. That dude ain't real. How many of these damn people are amongst us? And these fallen angels or whatever. I don't know. It before then, I was hopeful. Before my dad died, I really didn't think much about it at all. I didn't really think there was a God, you know. I mean, I did, but I didn't put a lot of stock into it. I was definitely not wanting to die. I don't want to die now. Don't get me wrong.
right.
I love my life.
Yeah,
But if it happens tomorrow, but don't mourn for me. I'm fine. Y'all are the ones left here to continue to have to deal with this shit. Like serious, those those are the people who get screwed in the deal. I got a promotion. That's how I look at it now. When I die, we'll get a promotion.
so it was that experience there was very impactful for you as well
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
on a personal level.
Mm-hmm. And I'm more thankful now because I know this time that I have, with my children and everything, my family, all this stuff. It's not gonna last. But there's something because that kind of bum you out, right? Like that. When you're always looking at stuff like, man, this ain't gonna last. This is just gonna be a memory. But where we're going to now, whether we can meet up on the other side, I don't know. I don't know how that works out. I didn't experience any of that, but I it's just crazy, man. I really not worried about it. Of course, I don't want to see nobody die. I don't want to miss people, and that's always the thing I was worried about with dying. I would miss out, but if it's just 10% of what I went through at the Conjuring House, I'm gonna be all right, bud.
What have you got coming up?
Okay, so before we showed the Conjuring film, I had a film I screened. It was like 30 minutes. It was the first episode of our Journey to Belief Bigfoot episode or Bigfoot season. So it's a 4-part series. It's almost done. I'm like working on the last 10 minutes of the last episode now, but it's basically okay. So a lot of people, they make Bigfoot content. They do all these things for Bigfoot believers. My cameraman is a skeptic, right? What Joey, the guy at the Conjuring House, he didn't believe none of that stuff before he experienced that. He's trying to experience Bigfoot. So trying the point of the project is to prove to skeptics. What's it going to take to prove to my skeptical friend that Bigfoot is real and worth looking into? Right? So we take a road trip. We interview like 13 people. We contacted the state. There was a story in there about the Ocheesee wild man. So we contact the state, and they pull all these governor blocks, and they pull all of his correspondence and everything for us. And this is like from the 1800s, 1880s, and we dive into that. It was really odd in that the movie's not out, so I don't know how much I should say. But anyways, that part left him scratching his head. There's some of the videos we did recreations on, some of the people had. Then we sent a FOIA request to the FWC, and this was his idea. I didn't even know it went on, right? And he asked for any reports or emails relating to Bigfoot, skunk ape, Yeti, or swamp ape and Sasquatch, something like that, right? Or Yeti wasn't on it. So it was Bigfoot, skunk ape, swamp ape, and Sasquatch. They have 72,313 emails with those keywords in them.
Really?
Yes.
The Florida State Wildlife Commission?
Yes. Now, what is that about? I don't know. They want $12,000 for them. So while we're still, they told us that they had 0 officer-related reports, which I know is a lie. I've been on location twice when the FWC has shown up about some Bigfoot shit. So I know that was a lie. However, I have to prove they're lying, right? And that's kind of what I'm doing here. They told me we have 0. And then I'm like, okay, cool. We want you to find this one, give us all the information you got about this one particular case. And it's a report. With I name the county where it happened, the date, the FWC officer who was involved in taking the report. Now, remember, you just told me there were no reports. I got newspaper clippings, right? We ask them about it. All communication stops. They close our FOIA request and quit talking to us at all.
You know, that sounds extraordinarily familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The $12,000, basically the $12,000 bounty for getting any of the information provided to you. I want to say, if I remember correctly, that this was the same thing that David Pilates ran into when requesting FOIA information from the state parks.
Yeah, probably. And that
it was in the neighborhood of like $40,000 to get that information to them.
Yeah, so ours is 12. We're hoping to raise the money and then just like get them and then like put them on a server or something to where people can come and just read them and then find it. So that way we don't have to do the damn work. It's like, what are we going to do through 12,000 something emails or 70,000 emails? I ain't about to look at that shit. But the fact that they cut us off there was really odd. And then I caught them in a lie. Like straight up called them in a lie. There's another one they got coming. They don't know yet. And they're not aware. I got another one because I closed our account and you can't ask through that account anymore for some reason. So I'm going to hit them up for another one. There was, I don't want to say what it is. It's going to be a surprise to them. This is going to be a knockout punch, bro. Because I got them on this one. Like I got them. Like, y'all just keep lying to me. That's all I need. Y'all just keep on lying to me because then I can drop foot with this guy over here who claims he works for him and has had his own encounters, and then he talks about processes and stuff. So I'm waiting on a shoe to drop to put this guy in the project too.
Oh, like literally processes that are in place as far as what they do when they have an encounter.
What to not do, or what not to do, right? So
Yeah.
if you have an encounter, what not to do? Run your mouth. You know what I mean? Don't talk. Don't say nothing to
Yeah.
nobody. We don't want to know about it. But you have to look at it. If they're not taking the reports, it's a dereliction of duty, because like, even if you're a cop, right? You got real calls, good calls. You're going to put them in the good pile. You're going to put these bad calls in the bad pile. And then you got calls about unicorns. I still want to know. Your job is to keep a record of every report, not to discern the information the way you want and throw out what you want. Because now all these unicorn reports you didn't save. Why didn't you save them? What was the point in that? But then we went, for the last episode, we go to a guy in Alabama who had like some really cool evidence on his property, and we were able to collect a handprint, and amongst other things, and that's basically all in this one. Like, I guess it's about 2 hours and 20 minutes total, but it's 4 episodes. They're like 30, 30, 45, and like 40. So somewhere around in the 2 hour, 20-minute mark for all of it. But
so was this a print, like a handprint in the ground, or
no,
was this a handprint on the side of something you were able to lift the what do they call the oil that's left
the
behind?
sebum.
Sebum.
Yeah, yeah. So this was actually, the thing was looking in the window at this house and had leaned up on the rail, and like, I had called a bunch of people about how to test it, or I mean how to collect it. So we did everything we could. Todd Disatel told me that even in a sterile lab, perfect setting situation, he said you have a less than 2% chance of collecting any skin cells out of that sebum. He says it's just so hard, dude, and it's out in the elements and stuff like that. He's like, still try it by all means, but it ain't good looking for you, you know. And then the landowner, he had the one handprint, and it was there before we got there. It like happened the night before, right? And so he covered it, and had sent us a picture, and he covered it and all that. The weird thing is the digits were in weird spots. I mean, you see from the knuckle here, about mid knuckle on your finger, all the way to the base of this hand, but the thumb placement was so weird. It's odd, but he only had the one, and so as we're trying to collect it, some sterile water runs off of that top board on the handrail and wets the underneath part. There's another handprint under there that he had no idea about. So it's really cool. The project is coming along. You know, it's almost done.
Do you have a working title for it yet?
Yeah, it's a Journey to Belief. And that's gonna continue on as a series, especially with the Bigfoot thing, because we want to get, at the end of the day, the thing is to make the fire as big as you can, right? So somebody to come and put it out. So we believe there's going to be a Bigfoot protest held this year at the Florida State Capitol for these, this information that they're clearly hiding. Yeah, I don't know who's going to put it together. It may or may not be me. But yeah, man, we're going to try to raise some awareness, because the state officials shouldn't be lying to us. It's our information.
Well, if not, if it is you that would happen to decide to put that on, do your buddy Eric, call him up and let him know when this is going to happen, because I'm going to bring my equipment down there and get set up.
Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, if you had like 25 people dressed up as Bigfoot outside the Capitol and a bunch of people picketing. Like, you'll give us those files eventually, bud. What y'all hiding? Like, I don't get it, man. Like, our local sheriff's department in Wakulla County, they have records of the Bigfoot reports. They kept them. You mean to tell me ain't nobody ever called the Florida Fish and Game about a Sasquatch? You gonna try that shit with me? Like, I don't even care if they were lying. I know somebody called. And hey, you told me nobody called ever, and you never took a report. What about this report that y'all took right here that I got proof of? And then they close you off. So it's a long process. We're trying to go at proving it through the information that they hide, that I know they're hiding now. I didn't think they were going to be hiding anything before. I thought they would be an open book. But then you catch them in a lie, and it's like, what? Like, even Joey, the skeptic, he's like, dude, this is so strange. And he doesn't believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know? So, like I said, where there's smoke, there's fire, bro. We just got to get that fire big, and they'll put it out.
When can we expect that to be out for our viewing pleasure?
Yeah, so as soon as I get it done, I'm going to send you a copy so you can give us a nice review, or at least a review.
Absolutely.
And outside of that, we're looking around month of March to come out. You know, yeah. I should seriously have it done in the next 3 weeks. I should actually have the cut done by the end of the weekend, but by it's colored and everything, be a few weeks. And so we're probably looking at like mid-March release on that. But I'll be dropping a trailer for it real soon. I got this super badass trailer for it. I'm like,
can't wait to see it.
I'm like
can't
proud of it. I'm usually always embarrassed about my projects, and like, you know, but this one I'm not. It's like, hell, this is good, man. I'm proud of this one. So I finally got the piece to be proud of, you know, at least from my standpoint.
From what I've seen in the past, you have others to be proud of. And I'm going to ask you, maybe kind of put you on the spot just a little bit, as far as my Discord community is concerned. Once we haven't done it in a while, but we're going to get back to it. I host these things. They're called campfires, and it's usually on a Friday night. I go live, and there'll be, 20, 25 people in the Discord that, and we sit around, we shoot the shit, we talk about weird stuff, we talk about things that are in the news, the weird stuff in the news and all that. But we did this with Christina Rake, on a paranormal show that she'd done, and we aired it, and it was a watch party, and then she was there as a part of it to answer questions and everything with the people in Discord. So I'm going to put this out to you that I would love to do that with the Conjuring House Experiment. If you would take part in that with us, watch it along with us, and then be open to questions from the community members.
Bro, I don't know what Discord is. I've heard of people talking about it, but if y'all are gonna watch the film and then want to ask some questions, just let me know when, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, we can line that up. So
yep, we'll get it set up, and I'll give you a 59-year-old guy, 58-year-old guy learn how to use Discord. So it's not. It may sound daunting, but there's really not much to it.
I'm sure. I'm just trying to I'm not even on TikTok. I'm trying to trade my cell phone in for a pair of overalls, and I've already got the overalls. So now I just have to make it happen.
Well, Stacy, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Glad to see you're doing well.
Yeah, brother.
And I appreciate you setting this up and taking the time to do this again with me. It's been a great conversation.
For sure, bud. I always enjoy shooting the bullshit with you, so it's always fun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you do happen to see a Bigfoot event that Mr. Brown is speaking at, I do highly encourage you to get out there and see it, because his presentation is top notch, as well as Mr. Robert Kreider. You guys did a fantastic job that day.
Yeah, but that was a really it was a nice trip. You have a great community there. Something you're building there, you know. So you gotta have somebody speak at it again or something. You need somebody. Hit me up, dude. It was a cool place, brother.
I will do. It is unusual compared to the majority of conferences. It's a different dynamic for sure.
That's where I first learned of the Dewey Lake Monster, and I can't believe I didn't know before, but that is such a cool ass story. So
it is very, very cool, and it just won't go away. And thankfully that community around that area, they won't let it go away either. So
right on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Brown Jr. Look forward to talking to you again, my friend.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. Good night.